Hello everybody, Steven here with Cardboard Coalition, and today I figured we'd bring you a how to play for Azul, right? This is a game by Michael Kisling, I think it's Kisling. It's Next Move Games. It's for ages 8+. It is 2 to 4 players, and it takes 30 to 45 minutes. At least that's what the box says. All right, let's go ahead and jump into this. So I have the game set up, but I can run through the setup really quick for you guys. Probably won't do it in the order that I'm supposed to, but you give each player a player board. You go ahead and give each player a score tracker, and they put it on the 0 on their player board, right? Then you go ahead and you place the factory, I think factory tiles are what they're called, and it's a different amount depending on the amount of players. We have 4 players, therefore we have 9 out here. The next thing you do is you pick the first player. And in the book it says the first player is the last person who has gone to Portugal, right? So in this case, we'll just pick this person off to the left. We'll give them the number 1 tile. They can set it on their board down here. This is the floor line. I'll explain that later, but right now it doesn't matter. It just shows that they get to go first. They get first pick of tiles. So how you win this game is by getting the most amount of points you can, right? How you do that is by collecting up tiles, putting them in your tile lines, then putting them on your wall, and then scoring for combinations that you've made. That's the basic way. That's how you get your points to score. There are some bonus points at the end of the game that you can score, and you have them right here. You have all 5 across, touching, so a whole line. If you get all those to touch, you get +2 at the end. All 5 down, you get +7. And then if you have all 5 of each tile, so each tile design, there's 5 different ones of them. So if you have all 5 of, let's say, this teal and white, if you had tiles on all of those, you get +10. So those are extra scoring for the end. So what this game is the idea is you are a tile layer. I'm trying to make it look nice on here so we could see everything. You are a tile layer, and the King of Portugal has gone to southern Spain. He's seen some of the Moors work with tiles, making tile walls, and the king wants you to reproduce that for him. So you're trying to make a beautiful tile wall with the tiles that you can get. That's the theme behind Azul. So let's jump into how Azul is played. So we have the setup. I think I skipped the one thing. Once you put the factory tiles down, the first player does this, but when you first set up, you go ahead and do it. Each factory tile gets 4 tiles placed on it, and you have a bag that you randomly draw your tiles from, right? So the first player goes and puts each 4 tiles on each factory tile or location, however you want to look at it. And then the game is ready to begin, or that round is ready to begin. And this is played through a multitude of rounds. What starts the end game phase is when a player has connected all 5 horizontal tiles. So all 5 here, it doesn't matter. It could be anywhere, but once all 5, there's 5 tiles connected horizontally, the game ends, then you go ahead and go through your scoring phase, right? And, sorry, let me correct that. You finish that round, then you get to the end, you go to in-game scoring phase. So as soon as someone gets all 5 tiles across, and you'll find that out in the tiling, I believe it's called the tiling phase or the wall phase, you'll figure that out, and everybody's already picked all their stuff. So once that happens, then it means you don't go and do a whole nother round. All right. So this game is simple, but there's a lot of puzzle involved in what's going on. So this is set up in, I guess you could say 3 phases. Or you can look at it as 2 with the scoring phase at the end of each round. So each round consists of 2 phases or 3, depending on how you look at it. And there's multiple rounds, right, to get through. So the first phase of the round is the factory offerings, I believe is what it's called. You go through factory offerings. So whoever is the first player, They take the first player tile and they put it in the middle. Once they do that, they go ahead and look on here and they pick a color or pattern of tile that they want, and they take all of those from that factory location or tile. So for example, let's say player 1 puts the tile down in the middle, and they're going to go ahead and take the two black and blue ones. They take all the tiles of that color. All the leftover tiles go to the middle of the board, or the middle of the room, or however you want to look at it. They go to the middle. Now, once they have their tiles, they have to decide to place them, how they place them on their board. Now you have all these different rows. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can place tiles anywhere you want. There are some restrictions. If you already have a tile of that color on your wall, you cannot put a tile there. The other restriction is when you're trying to put in lines. Let's go for, just for an example, let's say I pick this one up. You can't put a different tile in the tile line. The tile line has to consist of all of the same color tiles. So that's the other thing. And then the third thing, I guess, to kind of keep in mind is, let's steal one from here. Let's say I grabbed, one had 3 black and blue tiles, right? You can put tiles in any space. You don't have to fill up a line. You can put them anywhere, and you can divide it up. Now, another thing that goes on is if you have nowhere that you can place this tile, you set it down on the floor, right? So let's pretend that all these lines are filled up, but I had to grab 3 for whatever reason. You would put it down here on the floor, which means the tile's fallen off the stacks that you're supposed to put on the wall and it's shattered. This is the floor line. And let me pick this up and I'll move it hopefully so you guys can see. There are negative points that happen at the end of each round depending on how much you fill up this the floor line. So if you get it all the way over here, you get negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 points if you had filled up this whole line. And it's not the highest, you add them all up. So if you cannot place the tile legally on here, which means it's either all the lines have a color in there you can't place, or the wall has that tile on it so you can't place, then the tile must go down here. And then it counts as negative points. So that's how you place your tiles once you pick them in your tile lines and stuff. So next, this player has already gone. They've picked their tiles. They set them down. Play goes to the next person. And you keep going round and round till all the tiles are gone, right? They're all gone. So once they're all gone, then you go into the wall phase, but we'll get into that. But one more thing I want to point out with the offerings phase, the factory offering phase, is when it's your turn, so let's say player 2, it's their turn, they can pick a color from any of these and they would take all the color. Like if they would have pick red, they would take these two, right? And I'm just going simple. We'll go down here just to show. Let's say they want to put some red down there. The rest of these tiles go to the middle. Next player's turn. For whatever reason, let's say they want the yellows. The extra tiles go in the middle. We'll, just for argument's sake or show some diversity in play, we'll put yellows there. Next player's turn. Let's say our fourth player really wants to place, let's go with the teal and white. Well, we have some of those here. Let's pick one that they can't. Well, I kind of messed up. Okay, we'll go round and round. So it goes back to fourth player. Sorry, guys. And they're going to go ahead and take blue, right? And they're going to put blue. I'm just putting them in different spots to show you guys you can place these tiles anywhere as long as there's not a color on the wall or a color already in that line. And one thing, you do place the tiles from right to left, right? And I'll explain why you do it that way later. All right, so all these go in here. So now it's back to the original player one's turn. They look at their offerings on the board and they're like, I think I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to take blue. They're going to put blue right there. Now it's this player's turn. Now remember, you can pick from any of these tiles, these factory offering tiles. Or you can pick from the middle, and it's the same rule. You pick one color and you take all of the tiles for that color. Now there is a risk that goes on with this. If you're the first person to pick tiles from the middle, you have to take this first player marker, which also allows you to go first in the next round, but it will cause, you would put it on your floor line, and it causes you to lose 1 point. So at the scoring, at the end of the round, you lose a point, but you get to go first next round. So for argument's sake, actually, let's just keep going through this. Let's say this player 2 goes, they're like, I'm trying to grab these reds. I want to build something here. And they put the red there. Now they could put the red anywhere they wanted, and as long as it's a blank kind of area, there's no tiles there. So they went, now this player scratches their head and they're like, wait a minute. I'm going to go ahead and take first player. Now step to the other side over here. They're going to go ahead and put that first player tile on the line, on the floor line, and they're going to say they want these blue and white, or teal and white, right? Because there's 5 of them, and look at that. They filled up a whole line, and that helps. Because when it comes to the wall face, to be able to put tiles on your wall, you have to have filled up the entire line. So their turn's done. Actually, I could probably run through this really quick for everybody. I'll probably be making bad decisions, but so be it. All right, so they're done. Now it goes to this player. They're like, hey, look, this is a perfect grab in the middle, and I don't even have to lose a point. So they take these 3, they go ahead and set them down. Next player's turn. He looks around and he goes, oh, hey, I'm gonna grab these 3 and go like this and set down yellows. Then it's the next player's turn. They got more of a decision to make, but they have some easy pulls. They can get 2 blues there, they get 2 blacks. They're gonna go ahead and do the 2 black and blues. They're gonna grab those. I'm trying not to think about this much, so if you know how to play the game, I'm doing horrible. If you know how to play the game, you're probably not watching the video. Anyways, so next player's turn, they go ahead and look through here and they're like, I wanna finish that line. I'm gonna go ahead and take this yellow and put it here. You take all the colors on that tile that you have chosen. All right, and that's going to be this player's turn. And they're looking at their options, and they're going to try to risk something. So they're going to go for all the reds in the middle, and they're going to set their reds down right here. And then it moves to the next player's player is going to look. They're also going to try to risk something. They're going to take the 3 blues. They're going to set them down. You remember you place them from right to left when you lay them down here. It moves to this player. This player scratches their head a little bit and they say, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just take this blue and put it right there. The rest go to the middle. Next player goes. So the next player looks at their options. They look at their board and they say, you know what? This might be risky, but I'm going to take these 3 and go ahead and put them here. Now, it doesn't matter if they have a color in a different line, a different tile line. As long as there's no color on this tile line, they could legally place these here on this tile line, right? So they set them there. It goes down to this player. They're like, yes, my gamble paid off. They go ahead and take that red and put it there. We go to the last player and they look at the board and they go, oh, I really wanted that blue, but I can't. This is all that's left. They have to take a tile. Each player has to take a tile. You cannot pass. So they take this tile and they look at their board and they go, I can't put it here, obviously. Can't put it there, can't put it there. You can't put it here because it's already set up as a blue tile line. They have to put it down here at the bottom. And it's clear because they have no tiles here. Now, everything's gone in the middle. Now we go over to, I'm going to check it. I want to say it's called the wall phase. I'm sure I'm confusing things to some point. Wall tiling. It's the wall tiling phase of the round. So now we move into the wall tiling phase of the round. Now how this works, and the scoring phase is kind of mixed in the wall tiling. I feel like the scoring is a whole different thing, but we'll go through it. So to be able to take a tile and place it on the wall, you have to have filled the tile line. So in this example, for player 1, they have that line. They have this line. As you can see, you only put 1 tile over here, right? This tile line's filled, so they can place that tile on the wall, right? This tile line is not filled, so they can't place anything, and this tile line is not filled, so they can't place anything. So now that they've placed all the tiles that they can legally place on the wall, they take the extra tiles that are on their board and they go into a discard pile, right? Any of the extra tiles from ones that they've placed. So we placed here, and here. Those extra tiles go over there. Now you go ahead and go through the scoring. There's some things that go on with the scoring. So for every tile placed, you get 1 point. So we got 1, 2, 3. So this player would get 3 points. Then we check down here. There's no tiles on the floor line, so no negative points. Now, if they would have had 2 here or 3 here, they would get 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, they would get 1, 2, 3, 4. Even if these 3 were already down and this makes the 4th one, they count that line. You count anywhere that a tile is placed. The other thing is, besides getting, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, if they had all tiles there, they can, if they had a tile here and here, they would get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because they've connected 2 sets of tiles. And that goes for as far as the tiles go. So you count all the tiles connected to that tile. In this case, they would get 1 for each spot. Now we can go ahead and go to the next person. Hopefully they'll just clear it up more for guys. So for you guys, this one, the tile line's full, so we can place blue. This one, tile line's full. We can place this black and blue. Nothing, no tile line. This tile line's not full, so we can't place. Then we go ahead and get rid of any of the extras from the tile line, from the tiles we've placed. Then we go ahead and score. So they'd get 1, 2 points. So they go 1, 2. All right, and then we can move over here. Nothing. This is a full tile line, so they can place that tile. This is not a full tile line, so they can't place a tile on the wall. Now this tile line is a full tile line, so they can place this tile on the wall. Now they get rid of all the extra tiles. All right, oh, throwing tiles. They get rid of all the extra tiles. We'll throw them over here in the discard. And then they go ahead and score. They got 1, 2 points. But because they took the first player token, they lose 1 point. There's a -1 there, so they would go 1, 2, and then they would lose a point. So they have a point. Then we go down here and we'll look at the last player just to do it one more time so you guys can see it. This tile line's full. They can place a tile on the wall there. This tile line's full. They can place a tile on the wall there. This tile line is not full. Can't place a tile. No tiles, no tiles. Then they go ahead and score. They have 1, 2. So they have 2 points. So that is the end of the wall phase. And I feel like the scoring phase, you kind of put them on the wall and score at the same time. You kind of all do it together. But that's the end of that phase. Then what happens is you go ahead and the first player, who has the first player tile, gets to go ahead and place on the factory tiles. And you place 4 tiles each factory tile. And I explained this in setup. And you go ahead and go all the way around. And now they're the first player. They get first pick and they go ahead and put that first player tile in the middle. And that is how you play the game. And as I said, let's see if I can grab some tiles and make us some patterns so you guys can see some of the talking points that I made. Of course, I don't grab tiles to make patterns. So you never score diagonally. I guess that's an extra. You only score orthogonally. So up, down, left, right. You don't do diagonally. And I didn't grab a whole bunch of good tiles, right? We could just throw these down like, oh, we're just setting up for the next game. But once you get a line of 5, so if we were to get this one, right? I'm going to go ahead and just do it. And I know I'm just stealing from everywhere, guys. I know. So after you place your tiles on the wall, right? In the wall tiling phase, someone says, I've gotten 5 horizontal. Then you would go through the scoring. And it's the same thing. You would go ahead and do this. Everybody do all their normal scoring for the game. What ones are connected, how many points they get. Then they would look at this end scoring phase down here, see if they have any horizontals, any verticals, and then all 5s. And the same thing, you just keep moving your little cube around and it helps you score everything. This is kind of helpful to have that there. At the end, it's whoever has the highest score. Now, off the top of my head, I can't remember what happens when there's a tie. And there's always like this is the tie, and this is what happens. Oh, the most horizontal lines. That's interesting. So the person with the most lines horizontally wins the tie, right? And then if there's still a tie, then victory shared. So the person with the most points wins. If there's a tie for the most points, you look at who has the most horizontal lines on their wall. If there's still a tie, then they share the win. And that is how you play Azul, right? And I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm Steven with Cardboard Coalition. See you later, everybody. Bye.